Bum, 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 bum. Badass woman of Herstory. Today we're going to talk about Dolores Jimenez y Muro. Born 19, whoa. Glasses almost popped up because I was lying. Born 1848, passed 1925. Presidents Diaz and later Huerta often imprisoned Dolores Jimenez y Muro, a socialist and political activist from Aguascalientes, for her work on many leftist journals, including La Mujer Mexicana, where she was a member of the editorial staff. In 1911, Jimenez y Muro planned a conspiracy to bring Madero to the presidency. The political and social plan proclaimed by the states of Guerrero, Michoacán, Tlaxcala, Campeche, Puebla, just making sure it's recording while I'm over here struggling, and the federal district, which was in the March of 18th of March, 1911. Unlike Madero, though, Jimenez y Muro believed in social and economic reforms. Excuse me. She also advocated the decentralization of education, fair pay for all workers, reasonable housing, and safeguards for the indigenous. Once Zapata learned of her views, he requested her help for his cause. She joined him in 1913 and stayed in Morelos until his assassination in 1919. Damn. That's crazy. She was 75 years old when she passed. Educator, revolutionary. She was a Mexican school teacher. So why do I have to do two different? Oh, okay, same thing though. So biography. She was born June 7th, 1848 in Aguascalientes, Mexico. But while young, her family moved to San Luis Potosi. She grew up in the upper middle class of San Luis Potosi, where her father was a senior government official. The family had many liberal friends, and from her childhood, Jimenez was exposed to foreign and liberal ideas. She had no formal schooling, studying at home, but was encouraged to pursue her talent for poetry. In 1874, she was invited by the state government to read her poems at an official celebration of the September Independence festivals. Yeah, just in case you don't know, Cinco de Mayo is not the independence of Mexico, it's in September. These poems were later collected into a book and published as Un Rayo de Luz, a ray of light. In 1883, Jimenez lost both of her parents, and she began teaching school. She became aware of how easily one could fall into poverty or become exploited. Pre-revolutionary radicalism. Dolores Jimenez published in La Esmeralda and La Sombra de Zaragoza, and by 1902 had become the director of La Potosina magazine. She continued to teach in the rural school system until 1904, when she moved to Mexico City. She published articles against the regime of Porfirio Diaz and was arrested. In prison, she met Elisa Acuña Rossetti, Juana Belén Gutierrez de Mendoza, and Inés Malvaez. From prison, the women began publishing a radical journal, Fiat Lux. In 1905, she joined the staff of the La Mujer Mexicana, for whom she worked until 1908. She also published articles in Diario del Hogar, or newspaper of the home. Yo, if they would have talked the shit that people was talking on, we have so much freedom in our country. Like if in this time in this country, because just for example, we could talk about Biden or Trump or Bush or anybody we want to on Facebook. We can print up an article. Nobody's gonna arrest us. They arrested her. In 1907, Acuña, Belén, and Jimenez y Muro, they need a movie about this because these women met in jail. This is tight as fuck. This is Orange is the New Black, Mexico version. They founded the Daughters of Anahuac, a group of about 300 libertarian women who demanded improved working conditions for women and advocated labor strikes. In 1908, Jimenez founded with Acuña, Belén, and Jose Heriberto Pinelo a workers' organization in Mexico City called Mexican Socialism. They continue to publish the newspaper Fiat Lux as the voice of a news organization called the Mutual Society for Women. In 1910, Jimenez and others founded the club Femenil Antirreeleccionista, Hijas de Guatemoc, or Anti-Reelectionist Women's Club, Daughters of Guatemoc. I did a book report on ancient Mexico, and a lot of the names are like that. Those are like, I guess that they kept a lot of the names for those for the cities. But even that, the anti-reelectionist, anti-reeleccionista, that one's tough. The club, including members Mercedes Arvides and Julia Nava de Luis Sanchez, staged a demonstration in Mexico City on September 11th. 1910, protesting election fraud. Whoa, history tends to repeat itself. These activities and a failed attempt at rebellion by supporters of Arriaga resulted in the arrest of Jimenez, Acuña, Belén, and Maria Dolores Malvaez and their imprisonment at San Juan de Ulu Fortress in the Gulf of Mexico. So they met in jail, they ended up in jail, but now they're in a hard court jail. In prison in 1911, Dolores Jimenez continued to be politically active in jail and founded Regeneración y Concordia. Though she has sought to further the changes, through this she sought to further the changes that she desired to see in Mexico. She envisioned a country where there were significant improvements to the economy and land reforms. She also wanted changes to improve the living conditions of women and indigenous people. Regeneración y Concordia had feminist aims which her partners Acuña, Belén, and Sara Estela Ramirez joined her work. Man, that's exercise for the tongue right there. In March 1911, Francisco E. Madero called for for demonstrations in Guerrero, Michoacán, Tlaxcala, Puebla, and Campeche, and Jimenez organized the protest. She was a notable contributor to the Complot de Tacubaya, which sought to depose the president Porfirio Diaz in favor of Francisco E. Madero. She is credited with writing The Political and Social Plan, published on March 18, 1911, which outlined the ideas and aims of the conspirators. The plan advocated a continuation of the demands the Mexican Liberal Party had made in 1906, including fair wages, affordable housing, improved working conditions, and curbs on foreign investments. It also promoted the excuse me. I need some water real quick. Oops. We're about to wrap up, ladies and gentlemen. Hang in there. We're gonna get to the freestyle. Fair wages, foreign investment. It also promoted the decentralization of the country's education system on the premise that a school's needs are best met when it is locally funded and controlled. She's got some points, man. Unlike earlier revolutionary theorists, however, Jimenez insisted that wage should be increased for women as well as for men. She also insisted that's equal right there, baby. She also insisted that foreign firms operating in Mexico should be required to have at least half their workforce made up of Mexicans. That's good. See, we should do that shit here. After the plane was raided Mexico City on October 31st, Halloween, 1911, interim President Francisco León de la Vara had Jimenez arrested. In spite of her age, she was 61 and most of her compatriot revolutionaries were in their 20s. She was refused release until she staged a hunger strike. She realized that Madero was not a supporter of the radical reforms she supported and switched her loyalty to Emiliano Zapata. She was a revolutionary. She tried the right way, and it did not work. In 1913, she joined the Zapatista forces and developed the prologue to the Plan de Ayala. She directed the newspaper La Voz de Juárez, from which denounced the coup led by Victoriano Huerta to overthrow Madero. Zapata anointed her to the position of brigadier general, but that was insufficient to prevent an 11-month imprisonment ordered in 1914 by Huerta. She was released from prison and rejoined Zapata until his assassination in 1919. Post-revolution, between 1921 and 24, Jimenez worked in the Secretary of Education's Cultural Missions Program. Nice. She died on October 15, 1925 in Mexico City at the age of 75. What a life. Indeed. Shout out to RIP to Dolores, Jimenez, and Muro. Man, they need a movie about that life right there. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta get a freestyle and wrap this up. Actually, I'm gonna take a break before the freestyle. I'm gonna find a beat, take a little break, be right back. Not too long.